Scaramouche, or Wander, whatever you like to call him, is a character that I have a love-hate relationship with. I go through phases of not really liking him and then a phase of obsessively liking him. There is no in-between, and I'm currently in the liking him phase. So let's talk about it, shall we? I will be talking about two main misconceptions in this video. Him not deserving to be forgiven, and mihoyo making him too soft. I'm not quite sure if there's more, but these are the most popular ones that I have come across. You can tell me if you know more, and I will also be discussing some of the infantilization he receives from his fandom. Before we start, I would like to take this moment to say thank you so much for 500 subscribers and the support on my recent videos. It has been a pleasure reading other people's opinions, whether positive or negative, on the topics that intrigued me for so long, and I will continue to make these videos with your support. So thank you. Introduction. Wanderer is a brat. I meant that in a loving way, mostly. He is quite popular amongst the player base, but also quite unpopular because his fans are some of the most insufferable people you will ever meet, but that can be said for most popular characters. His just happen to be slightly worse sometimes. They're usually just annoying rather than outright bad people, at least from my experiences. Anyways, due to his presence in the current event quest, his fans actually have something to talk about instead of obsessing over some picture of him from mihoyo collaboration with a store or something. But with yapping comes the haters, and the Scaramouche haters have come out of their woodworks to talk about how much they hate either him as a character, his fans, or how mihoyo has chosen to write him. Villain wanters, people who want playable villains, tend to sometimes undermine the writing of certain characters because they wanted that character to be a villain. Because that character isn't a villain and mihoyo has chosen to write them in a different way, they undermine the writing that was put into that character. Child, Scaramouche, Arlecchino, they all get this treatment because people want them to be more evil than mihoyo is willing to make them. I want a playable villain as much as the next person, but I can still acknowledge when a character is well written, even if I think they could have been a villain instead. I share this sentiment with Arlecchino, but not Scaramouche. I actually think his redemption arc is the correct thing for him, while Arlecchino could have been more evil if they wanted to. The first misconception we'll be going through today is he doesn't deserve forgiveness for his past actions. Here's the kicker, folks. He hasn't been forgiven, nor does he himself think he should be forgiven. So yeah, you're sort of right. He literally tried to kill himself. Wait, can I say that on YouTube? He offed himself, just so the people he affected could no longer be affected. But you can't rewrite the past in Tevat, and those things happened regardless, just with different participants. He erased himself from history to save the people he cared about, but it didn't do anything, they still died. What he did in the past isn't acceptable, no matter the reason, but I do want to clear something up, just in case you were like me and you made this mistake. Scaramouche didn't kill Kazuha's family. After being lied to by Dotore, he went on a rampage to destroy the raiding Gokugen, and all who are involved, which are the members of the Kaidahara clan. But when he encountered Kazuha's great-grandfather, who reminded him of his friend Niwa, he chose not to kill him, because even in a fit of rage, he still cared for his friend. So Kazuha's great-grandfather lived, giving us Kazuha. He didn't kill Kazuha's entire family or immediate family members, but he was responsible for the downfall of the Kaidahara clan. He still killed a bunch of innocent people. I just wanted to make sure you knew exactly who he killed and who he didn't kill. Because I've seen people say that Kazuha would hate him because he killed his family, which he didn't. Kazuha himself said he would want to see him work on being a better person and redeem himself rather than have him punished for his actions. So there's that. I don't believe Scaramouche has been forgiven for his actions by anyone, not even himself. He asked the traveler to tell the descendants of the Raiden Gokugen of his actions so that they may come take their revenge on him if they so want. He isn't trying to get out of this scot-free, so I don't understand why people think it's all water under the bridge when it isn't. It may feel like he hasn't been punished for anything because the people around him just think he deserves a second chance at being a better person, and I agree, he does. Even the traveler, who is slightly distrusting of him, encourages him to be better, but he still has a ways to come. Besides, now he's being forced to go to university and write essays and also interact with his classmates. Can you name a better punishment than writing essays? I can't. Second misconception is they made him too soft. This sentiment has been repeated a few times due to his behavior in the current event quest, and the main criticism for Genshin's story is that we don't have any actual playable villains, and that mihoyo tends to go the they aren't actually as bad route every time a villain is released. While I would love a playable villain, the ones we have instead aren't necessarily terribly written either, so I tend to be just okay with it. I will take a well-written playable character in general over one that's just bad because bad. Scaramouche being soft isn't mihoyo destroying him and making him more palatable for the player base. They don't have to. He's a relatively very popular character because of how much of a brat he is. Also, he's been soft. Him being soft is the whole reason he's in this predicament to begin with. If he was born as his Fatui self, A probably wouldn't have tried to give him a life outside of being her puppet. She probably wouldn't have felt bad for him and tried to give him freedom, which he took, rightfully, as her abandoning him, which, to be fair, is what she did, whether she intended to do that or not. His softness is what led to him to be where he is now, and he's only now learning to be soft again. Also, he is still quite rude to the Traveler and basically everyone else. It's silly banter and I enjoy it, but still, he's not completely soft. People are acting like they turned him into clay or something. Saying he's soft in a negative way when all he did was be nice to Durin, who is going through the same thing he went through, is weird to me because what was the other option? Him act like Durin isn't literally him pre-Sumeru. He was also someone who turned to anger and self-loathing as a coping mechanism for his trauma of being betrayed by those he cared for, and he doesn't want to see someone else go through that. He relates to Durin and he sympathizes with him. It's called character development. And I'm glad mihoyo brought him back to renew his relevance to the plot, especially since it seems we might be getting the Albedo Winter events back. Potentially. Hopefully. Please. I missed him so much. Scaramouche, the one from the 1.0 or 1.1, I don't know, event, is dead. He's Wanderer now. Wanderer is getting better with dealing with his emotions, realizing that things may not be as they seem, and all the things he took as betrayal weren't quite what they seem. Out of all the people he thought hurt him, Dotore is the only one he seems to still have a vendetta against, rightfully so. I hope we get to see Dotore in so much pain. I had something worse to say, but I'll hold my tongue on this one. Wanderer is healing from his past betrayals. He's going to school, has someone who's taking care of him. You could say like a mother, Nahida, has interactions with other characters off-screen, Setos, is reaching out to help others and befriend them, Durin. mihoyo isn't making him soft for marketing reasons. They don't have to. It makes sense with his story. He was always soft, but that softness was used against him for so long he thought of it as a weakness, which by the way is what the fandom is doing right now. Thinking he's a lesser character because he's being nicer. You people are the villain. Now that he's in a healthier environment, he can be soft again without thinking something bad is going to happen to the people he care about. I love to see actual character development occurring, even if it's through a time-limited event. I wish it was permanent, but we'll take what you can get. I can't wait to see more of him, but I do hope they keep his banter with the Traveler. It's fun and adds a little spice to their interactions. Last but not least, his infantilization by the fandom, specifically his own fandom. This could have been its own video like Furina's and Kabe's, but I don't think that's necessary. Scaramouche has done bad things, and it's perfectly fine to think he deserves some form of punishment for it. His fandom sometimes doesn't seem to understand this. Scaramouche was a bad person. I don't care what you say. It doesn't matter why he did it. What matters is that he did those things. His past and trauma serve as an explanation, not a justification. Wanderer himself feels like he should be punished for what he did. If he himself can admit that what he did was wrong, why can't you, as a fan, admit that too? Some people do take it too far and say he deserves worse for what he did, but those people are a different story. Characters should be held accountable for their actions, and those flaws are what makes them so interesting to read about. Those flaws give them room to grow and gives us, the player, an opportunity to witness character development of said character. Calling out your favorite characters when they do something bad doesn't mean you no longer like them. It just means you are able to handle that your favorite character may not be perfect, and that is fine. That's healthy even. Acting like he shouldn't be held accountable for his actions is treating him like a child, which is infantilization, especially when he himself admits to being wrong. I love Wanderer, and I love the direction Hoyoverse is going with him. He has been through so much, and has done so much wrong because of it, and is now being given a second chance in life. While you can thank Nahida for it, I do believe Wanderer himself deserves the credit for being willing to change for the better, for being willing to give himself the chance of being a better person. Would he have been an interesting villain? Sure, maybe. We can always just theorize what he would have been as a villain, but is he a horribly written hero? No. Also, a small little tangent. The people who have like evil characters as their or morally gray characters as their favorite characters have consistently tried to make them justify the bad things they did. A's fans do it, Arlenkino's fans do it. A lot of popular characters that are not 100% good people tend to have fans that try to either underplay the bad things they've done to make them seem like better people than they actually are. Here's a little advice. If you like a villain, be proud of it. You like a character that's a little evil, go for it. There's nothing to be ashamed. You don't have to pretend your character is a good person to justify liking them. It's okay. You're allowed to like whoever you like. You don't have to go through loops and hoops to justify liking a slightly bad character or even evil. For the most part, it's okay. You don't have to pretend your character is better than they actually are. No need to do all that. Just like them for what they are. If you truly loved a character, you love them for all their goods and bads, even if they have more bad than good. Anyways, I would love to see Wanderer interact with Kazuha, even though he doesn't remember him anymore. Raiden, even. But most importantly, him interacting with Dotore, so he can beat the living life out of him. What are your thoughts on Scaramouche/Wanderer? I'm sure I missed a few things. Let me know in the comment section below, and thank you again for 500 subscribers. It really means a lot. That's all I have for today. Subscribe, and see you whenever.